Started. Awesome. Okay. So welcome everyone. Welcome back to the 10th anniversary party. We're on our last day. I can't believe it. It's gone by so fast, but also been so full and productive. I've created so much and I see so many faces again and again at these sessions. So I know you guys are creating up a storm as well. And I'm so grateful to be able to spend this time with you guys. So this session is 1 hour. We're going to be talking about stamping for scrapbookers. Now, I will preface this by saying I think I've made one card in my entire life, and it had no stamps on it at all. So this is definitely stamping from my scrapbookers perspective, and of course, the simple scrapbooker, the lazy scrapbookers perspective. So I'm going to be sharing some of my tips for how I take the intimidation out of stamping, embrace imperfection, and really just have fun with it and add it as another embellishment on my pages. And then we're going to see how many stamps that I can get on one 6x8 layout, and I think it's going to be fun. I had fun pulling some supplies last night, and here we have a selfie, and of course I tried to color coordinate today. We're doing the orchid color for today's page. But I do have some examples to kick us off. I'm going to go through these examples, and then we will do our giveaway, and then we'll jump into doing the live layout. And of course, at any time, if you have questions, obviously this one's a little bit more technique driven, so if you want to know how I do something or how you might try to do something, different types of inks, things like that, I am not the world's foremost guru in stamping and in inks. I would say Jennifer McGuire is one of those people, and she's got amazing videos for learning a lot of the intricacies. But I will share my simple, practical approach to it and do my best to answer your questions. All right, so let's share my screen and jump over into some examples. All right. So do you see that layout there? Did we get a nod? Okay, Sheena's nodding. Great, thank you. Okay, so I went through all of my older layouts and picked the ones that I thought had some really good examples of stamping. So this one has stamping in those circles. There's two different, there's the ampersand sign and then the amazing. So I basically created my own embellishments on patterned paper here. And then, of course, I have a little date stamp there at the bottom. This one, you'll see several examples where I've used stamping as part of the title. So I used hello there as part of my title, and then I had letter stickers next to that. And this was actually stamping on vellum, so I'm pretty sure I used the Stays On ink there so that I would not have any worry about it drying.
Stays On for vellum, okay.
So this one is interesting because I wanted to, a lot of times when you think of more mixed media, artsy type pages, you think about using inks and paints and things like that. But I actually have this crosshatch stamp. So you can see that in the very, very, very top left, and then in several places underneath my cluster of patterned papers, right by where it says the artist. Can you guys see my cursor at all or no?
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay, look, so I can demonstrate. Yay, here. So this is stamping here with a little crosshatch pattern. And so it just adds to that background texture. And I love doing things like that. And I especially love kind of that peeking out look. If you saw my layout the other night, it was a roller stamp that I used to create a slight border that peeked out on the side of my columnar layout. All right, so this one actually only has a very tiny date stamps, but I did it in an imperfect way. And I wonder if I can blow this up further. So this is 533. Okay. Do plus, 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 plus. All right. So hopefully we can see that there. So I'm sure the first time I stamped that, I was like, well, shoot, that's a very imperfect stamp. So I decided to stamp off twice for each of those stamps and just kind of embraced it. You can tell the date is April 5th, 2012 to April 8th, 2012. None of the stamp impressions are perfect at all. And I just like the texture that it added to that page. And so I've used that technique again and again when my first date stamp isn't as neat and tidy as I would like. And so I just stamp it off a couple times and make that really part of the effect. All right, let's go back. Another one here. So this is probably one of my favorite ones where I used lettered stamps as part of my title. And I would say I think that's the first thing that I did on the page is figure out where that giant title is going to go. And then I built the page around that from there. This one has two different stamp pieces. We've got the stamped title here in red, observation. And that's just really kind of one of my titles. I'm not sure which one is the actual title. Lots of word embellishment here. And then I also have this really cute little row of hearts here at the bottom. I really like that one too. You'll see that I use a lot of smaller stamps, and part of that is smaller stamps tend to be easier to use, easier to get a crisp impression. They're nice ways to add more texture on the outside of a cluster you've already created, and of course they reduce that opportunity for screwing everything up. This one is a stamped background. So I had this love stamp that I did repeatedly in a diagonal pattern across the page with a yellow ink. So whenever I do background stamping like that, unless I really want it to be bold and totally black, I will often do a lighter color. So it kind of, you see it, but it fades away and it's more of a subtle detail in the background. This one has two different stamps here. We've got the Today You in pink here as part of the title, and then I have the love here on the side. And then I just took a pen and ended up hand drawing that border around, connecting to the love in that border. This one has a ton of stamps. So this is a photoless layout, and I find that these can be so fun to really make your journaling a star, and they also often create an opportunity for a lot of stamps. So we've got a triangle here of hearts. We've got the purple here and now, and then I've got this darker blue phrase here. You'll also notice I don't use a lot of color. I do stamp in black a lot. And I think on today's layout, I'm probably going to end up using black almost exclusively just because black has a great impression. I love my my Hero Arts ink and the dye ink, and it dries very, very quickly. Some of the colored ink tend to have the dye inks, you kind of have to wait for them to fill in, or the pigment inks just take way too long to dry. All right, we got a couple questions here. On the previous picture, did you make the hello background? No, that is a pattern paper that I started off with. But you could certainly do that. It has a very stamped effect. So that's something that would be a really fun thing to do by stamping off again and again. You just have to have some patience. All right. This one is using a stamp as part of your journaling technique. So I use this I want to remember stamp 4 times to kick off 4 different journaling blocks. And I think I'm going to use that technique in a similar way again today. Then we have this one. You guys saw this layout in my very first session of this. We've got the wholehearted title stamped here, and then the so totally thankful embellishment up here as well. This one I wanted to include because I have these stamped embellishments. So I stamped on smooth cardstock and then fussy cut around those stamps to create embellishments that I lifted up with pop dots. So I like doing that because you can do multiple trials until you get an impression that you like, and it's a way of creating your own embellishments on your page and adding some extra dimensions, particularly if you have a stamp but you don't really have an opportunity to put it directly on the background. So I love doing that. And we'll see if we can do that today. I don't have an idea, I think. So, all right, so all my examples. That is all my examples. All right. So any questions so far? I want to be super helpful in this one. You guys are so quiet and polite this morning. All right. Okay, let me pull up my thing. We're going to go ahead and do our giveaway. Let's figure out what we're giving away in this session. All right, so this one is a 3-month Simple Scrapper membership. Okay, here. So I'm going to pick a number at random. And I am getting an echo from someone, so I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone. Feel free to unmute yourself if you do want to speak, but I'm getting a little feedback from somebody's audio. All right, you can't enter yet. I haven't even printed the instructions. Come on, guys, follow the rules. All right, so once I enter the instructions in the chat box, you can enter. I haven't even pulled the random number yet, so technically you can't enter yet. You guys are so on the ball. All right. I have a random number. I am going to be only looking at the numbers posted after my thing here. So if you've already posted, you have to post again here. All right. So here's the instructions. First person to get it without going over. Okay. Oh, Nikki, 16. That was the number. Congratulations, Nikki. Cool. Okay, guys. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the giveaways. I'll try to give you a little sneak peek here. This afternoon at Kim's session, she's going to give away a digital issue. No, that is not right. No, it is right. A digital issue of Retro Hip magazine. So that's from Andrea Gray, Retro Hip Mama. And then tonight, well, / late afternoon, at the 4 p.m. final closing session, I'm going to be giving away a Story by Stacy Story Starter album kit. So you'll definitely want to be here for that one. All right, so Nikki, if you could email me, we'll make sure we get you all set up. All right. Minimize all of that. Let's switch my camera here and then get into some creating. All right, we've got all right, so here's my plan. I'm not going to slide over the whole jumble of goodies here. So we've got this. Well, let me start with how this all came about. I found this doily in the drawer last night when I was trying to find some embellishments for this crazy layout that I ended up making that involved hand cutting these pattern paper pieces. But I was rustling around in the drawer and I found a doily. I didn't think I had any more doilies. And red is like not a color I do a ton on my layouts. But I had this out last night and I was like, okay, I need to figure out what I'm going to do for the stamping session. I know that somewhere I have a round stamp. I'm going to put that in the center. And I'm going to use this as this is the starting point for my page. And at first I thought I was going to do a 12 by 12 layout, but then the photo that I wanted to use was from this year. So it's going to be 6 by 8. And we're going to start actually with a craft colored background. Okay, I don't have one of those already cut, so we're going to cut that down. So we've got photo, we have doily, craft background. I've got some orchid colored enamel dots here. They're definitely going to come into play. I've got this journaling card that I found, and what I'm really excited to do is, this is the stamp set we're using, and we have these kind of currently type things: age, loving, reading, watching, considering, hugging, cooking, dreaming. And I think I'm going to do those on these lines and do it a little wonky on here as my journaling. So this is kind of like a my story right now type of page. We've got these little cut apart pieces. I might do I might do another stamp on one of these and then cut that out. And then I've got some pattern papers. So I was just kind of finding I wanted to find something that had both the red in it and that purpley orchid color. So I found this group of papers so that we can kind of bring those colors together. I've also got these larger ones, this black stripe, this dot here. So I think this is going to be really colorful, but we're going to use the papers, like they're going to be small pieces of paper. And then I have this one that has this like painted thing on it. I think I'm going to use like a very tiny strip of this. I'm not 100% sure yet. We're going to have some fun with pattern paper, that's for sure. And we're going to do a ton of stamping. And I think I'm going to just try to focus on just this particular stamp set and see how many stamps from this one I can do on one page. All right, so let's get into this. All right. Okay. Let's cut this down. Actually,
just a little tip, Jennifer, so I don't have to pull that thing out all the time because it annoys me. I just do the opposite. I cut off 4 inches.
well, I don't. My brain wanted to divide it into 6, and so then I could do 2 8 inches. You just cut off 4 inches. My brain does not work like that. You must be doing that Common Core math, Carrie.
No, my brain doesn't work like that either. I wrote it on a little Post-it note that sits in front of me.
Okay, that's good to know. That's a good idea, though, so that you don't have to pull the thing out. Okay. I will have to work on that. I'm definitely very literal when it comes to my measuring. My husband, though, on the other hand, would be like, why wouldn't you just cut off 4 inches? Or he's always doing math the opposite way that I'm doing it. All right, so I've got a background to start with. I chose smooth cardstock because I knew I was going to be stamping today. You can certainly stamp on textured cardstock, and I do it all the time, but you're going to have more reliable results on a smooth cardstock. All right, I'm going to trim the photo up. So I'd love to hear if you enjoy stamping on layouts, if it's something that, like, because I've heard from several people that they keep buying stamps, but they're not using them. And I'd love to hear kind of some of the reasons why that happens. Is it some things I'm talking about, like feeling like you're going to screw up, you don't know where to put it? Or is it something that you just love to do and you embrace the fact that there's, you know, a degree of risk in doing so?
Basically, I don't use my stamps because it doesn't occur to me.
Okay.
Even though I spend money every month getting them. So.
When I'm pulling out my supplies for a layout, I almost always pick at least one stamp set. I think of it as another like embellishment type that I'm going to put in. And sometimes I don't end up using it, but many times that I do, or I end up grabbing a different stamp set, but I always try to grab one as part of my collection of supplies.
And it's a good process, a good way to start. So I'll have to do that.
I used to do it more often a long time ago when I was scrapbooking, but I just kept making so many mistakes and messing up layouts. So I kind of got out of the habit, and I'm trying to get back into it, but I'm still I'm not embracing the imperfection.
It can, I mean, it's not always easy for sure.
I will say, for me, it kind of depends on the stamp. So when I first got stamps, a lot of them were related to card making. So it was like sentiments or like images that would be like a focal point on a card. And so I found that if I wanted to stamp more in my scrapbooks, not always, but a lot of times you could use different, I guess, types of stamps, right? Like little phrase stamps or things that you could use for titles. So sometimes those things will cross, but I think that might make a difference too. If you look at what stamps are buying, if they're going to translate well to scrapbook pages.
That's a totally fair point. I also think that's one of the reasons why we do have so many card makers is because it's a smaller format and an easy way to practice getting good at it. And I think some people just ends up being their creative outlet is making cards. But Kim makes a really solid point is that stamps that are more meant for cards aren't always going to translate as easily to scrapbook pages. So you guys were telling me before that because I was cutting apart a stamp and you're like, why did you do that? So I want to figure out how am I going to stamp these individually on this thing here because how am I going to ink them up? Do I put a piece of paper over it? See, my inclination would be to cut all those apart. Tell me what you would do.
What size is your ink pad?
Regular size.
Ah, okay. Because at least the top and the bottom you can easily just ink that.
Yeah.
It's more tricky with the other ones.
Well, I have
You could put a little washi tape over them
washi tape.
Washi.
and then peel it off before you see
I
it.
have this little dewdrop here.
Oh, that'll be easier to. I also would cut them apart. That's me.
I'm gonna cut them apart because I don't ever see myself using them all together.
Yeah, that's usually what I ask myself. How often would I use it as one or versus? You can always put them back together and stamp it.
Yeah. Thank you for the permission to destroy my purchase.
You give us permission to do things all day long.
So I'm like, if I try to put something over it, I gotta put washi tape over it. The washi tape's gonna get ink, and then the ink's gonna get on my fingers. And I'm not, no thanks. All right.
I'm anti-messy making.
What was that?
I agree with you about the washi and the ink and I don't like messy.
If I'm gonna be messy, I want to be like, that's got to be part of the plan. All right. These are so small, they're hard to see. All right, so we're gonna do, so many of you guys know this, but in almost every case, I'm going to take my ink pad and stamp it on my stamp rather than putting the stamp on my ink pad because you get a much more even coat of ink doing that way and you have a lot more control and you're less likely to get ink on your block. All right, so we have age. Let's see if I can read these. Loving. It actually might be fun to find like little sticker word embellishments. Like, let's just find an example here. Like this one, like loving, there's no good nouns here. Loving simplicity. Like you could use stickers to basically do your journaling if you didn't want to write on there. reading. This one says watching. Cooking. 2 more. Okay. So we have hugging, dreaming, and considering. All right, last one. Awesome here. Actually, no, I'm not going to do the last one because I want to actually do date stamp there. And it is November. What was the date of this photo? Actually, October. I have to pull that up, I think. Garlic lime pork tenderloin duty. Nice. That sounds yummy. I need to get some steaks marinating after this because we're having people over tonight immediately after my next session this evening at 6:30. So I need to have the steaks all ready, and I'm going to make loaded broccoli tonight, and I'm excited about that. Okay, so I am jumping into Lightroom real quick so that I can figure out when that photo was from. Yeah, my computer is not happy here.
Jennifer, somebody wants to know what loaded broccoli is. And is that, did you take that picture when you guys went to the pumpkin patch? It looks like it was like I remember you did a layout. Or maybe you just shared a picture of your family.
We went to the Covered Bridge Festival.
Okay.
So, which is like a fall festival thing in Indiana. So this was the 13th of October. I was close. I thought it was the 12th. So loaded broccoli is you can steam some fresh broccoli, but I'm going to microwave some frozen broccoli. And then I'm going to toss it in a little bit of butter. I'm also going to cook up some sliced bacon, toss that in there. Throw some cheese on top. I actually probably put a little garlic powder in with the broccoli. Throw some cheese on top, put it in the oven under broil until all the cheese is melty. And it's very delicious. I actually made that the other day with shrimp, and it was basically a one dish entree. And then I'll probably serve some sour cream on the side for people who like sour cream as like a additional garnish. And if you're into onions, you could do like green onions on that too. Yeah. All right. So I would say a date stamp is one example where I do stamp my ink pad. And I will often go on to a piece of scratch paper and make sure I have the right date, because I don't know how many times I have actually stamped the wrong date. And then I'm going to do it. There we go. It's not 100% perfect, but it's good enough for this purpose. Sometimes if the photo was a selfie in not a location, like it was a selfie where it could have been anywhere, I might have done today's date and just really made it about this is right now. But because this particular photo, you can tell where I'm at, I'm going to do this more from the perspective of right now, last month. I've also done in the past, if there's a huge time span, I will do like the story was from this date and journaled on this date. But that's generally if there's probably more than a year between the two. Like if I'm doing an older photo and I'm journaling from a present perspective. Just like, for example, if I was scrapbooking a baby photo now, I might put that on there because the perspective I'm going to have now that my daughter's 7 is going to be a lot different than when I was in the moment of, you know, baby stuff. Okay, so I'm not sure if it's going to go under or over yet. It's probably going to end up going over. I might actually cut off a piece of doodly and then put that somewhere else. I don't know yet. I'm going to try to work on another stamped embellishment. What do I want to do here? We could do the me right now with maybe this teal one. Because there's going to be a little teal in the paper. So I have these. I don't know who made these, but these are older stamp blocks. They might be Tim Holtz. But I like how thick they are. I have a giant set. No, actually, these are the Tim Holtz ones. I have this giant set of stamp blocks that are really thin, and I don't like these at all because my fingers get in the way and they end up wobbling on the paper somehow. I can't get the impression because, I mean, that's a huge difference in the thickness. Whereas this block, I'm not worried that my fingers are going to touch the paper. So I end up just using these 3 blocks over and over again, and to be honest, I use these for like other art projects and makeup and other things far more than I do for stamping. So, all right. So you can see so far here, I've done all my stamping off the layout. And so if something were to go crazy, this is a way of protecting yourself. Also gives you an opportunity to have something dry before you touch it. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and stamp this, and then we'll wait a few minutes and then cut that out. Yeah, just the same way I do. Some of you have heard before how I talk about my journaling. I like to do things that are protective of messing up because I am a nervous scrapbooker some of the time, and I do want it to look nice. Sure, I can embrace imperfection, and I work on that a lot, but I like to do things that give me some flexibility. And also, like, when it's not on the page, I feel less intimidated, and so I'm more likely to get a good impression because I'm not going to overthink it or be unsteady. I'm not sure exactly why that works that way, but it does. All right, now we got to do something with some pattern papers. I'm going to push this aside just for now. So we'll do some pattern papers. I had an idea here of maybe on this striped one or this striped one, we might end up putting some stamps like in between the lines. I've done that before. I like that. I don't know yet. So Darlene asked what stamp pad manufacturer. This is the Hero Arts dye ink, and I still have. Oh, I don't know. Somebody told me that this is the exact same as the Stuart Memories black ink as well, and then it's the same manufacturer, just private labeled for each particular brand. And so I've used this ink for a long time, and I just find it very reliable. And so Cynthia just says, was the stamp actually made for that sticker? I know, it fits so perfectly. I'm really happy with that. But no, they're not. This is Citrus Twist, and the stamp is Ellie Edwards. So, Fran says loaded broccoli sounds like something I can make. Anything with broccoli and cheese, bacon and cheese. Yeah, totally. Some of you guys know I've been eating keto this year, and so things with bacon and cheese are a regular part of my diet, and it makes me very happy. I'm more than happy to not eat bread if I can eat bacon and cheese regularly with lots of veggies. So, all right, I'm going to do what Carrie suggested, and I'm actually measuring the opposite direction to do a tiny little strip here. Okay. So I'm thinking this is going to go over here. Oh, who was seeing somebody's screen? Shelly, is there something you want to share with us? Maybe you unintentionally shared your screen?
Ooh, Shelly, is this the exploding box you were telling me about yesterday?
That is really cool. I've never seen anything like that before. Let's see if I can. Oh, there we go. All right, so you guys are back on me now. Okay. And, oh, this is a different one. That is really cool. I've never seen, I mean, I knew people did stuff like that, but I've never done anything like that before. Ooh, another example. Oh, graduation one. That's cool. All right. So I knew this was going to be, oh, we got another one here. Let's see what's coming. Oh, there you go, Kim. There's a little alphabet punch. Last night we were talking about Kim wanted some small letters. All right, we've got a little pattern paper there on the side. What do I want to do here? I think I don't know what I'm doing here. All right, I don't know about if this is gonna work or not, but I cut this little striped piece with the idea that it's going to fit perfectly right here. And then we could have that over it. Like that. I'm not convinced that we're actually going to see any craft here in the end, but we'll see. I don't know. This might end up being like a fill up the page thing, or I could just cut. I think we just need to cut a bunch of other papers, maybe the exact same size as my photo. So Carmel, Shelley just said in the chat box, Carmel was asking about these explosion boxes. She said if you Google explosion box tutorial, there's a ton of different ideas. So that's a cool idea. I'm going to do 2 different squares, and rather than trying to measure, I'm just going to gently mark with a pencil how big these are and cut those out. I could probably have too many pattern papers here, but that's okay. It'll be fine. Can you really ever have too many pattern papers? I don't think so. All right. We're gonna have some really pretty scraps when this is over too. I think it's been a while since I really did a intensive job of working through my scrap drawer. I need to do something with that soon. Because the papers you end up using are the ones you like the most. That means the scrap drawer has all the papers you love the most, probably even more than if you go through your full stash of pattern paper. Like the best of the best, right? Ooh, I like that tiny little piece. I might save that there. Okay, we have all the pattern papers now. Okay. We're just going to go for it. We're going to put some stuff down here and see what happens. It worked out well last night. I think it can work out well again today. Where was that? I got this black and white washi tape that kind of just stuck out in my brain here as something that I need to add. Actually, I'm gonna do it. Take that off real quick. Over. And then we'll stick that one back. There we go. Just add a little bit more texture. One thing I don't like about small stamps is that I tend to lose them. I have lost one small stamp this weekend already, and I just found one of the little word stamps from my journaling card on the floor. So I need to be extra careful there. All right, so what do I want to do with these? I mean, I could do, I don't think I want to do any kind of grid thing. Well, maybe I'll do grid and layers. There, okay, yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. We are gonna have fun today. Okay. So we got our doily, our journaling card. Okay. Do a little layered thing here. Yeah, Erin, I am working in 6x8. My album this year is all 6x8 pages, whether it's a lot of 6x8 layouts. There are also some 6x8 pocket pages, some 6x8 Project Life pages. And I just thought it would be a fun experiment to do how many stamps can we put on one tiny little 6x8 layout. So I just find this size very fun to work with. Very easy to work with. Yeah, my photo. Okay. We'll layer up the doily here. Okay, I'm gonna be brave and I think we're gonna stick the doily down. Do I want it above or below? I think I want it above in the end. But we can move it if we decide to. Okay. Ooh, I'm getting excited here because we've got some white space here with the craft paper. Yeah, we'll put that under. No. Okay. Maybe this needs to go a little bit higher overall. Yeah. Okay. Let's do our journaling card. I'm going to use some pop dots for my photo here. Smaller ones. So it sounds like in the chat we're talking a little bit about single page versus double page layouts. I find single page layouts to be much easier to create, especially even smaller number of photos. I find that just more fun for my own artistic process, and I totally get why people love double pages and how when you open it up, you know, it's one cohesive thing. But I really see my albums as this like a journey, and every page is different. Every page has something new and interesting. So that type of imperfection and just the ebb and flow throughout the album I really enjoy. All right, we got a popped up photo here. I see a really nice spot for this embellishment, either down here or up here. This might actually be another good spot for a stamp. I'm excited here. This is coming together. We're cutting this piece apart now. Oh, it has got those little notched corners. I'm not so sure about that. My tiny scissors are somewhere else. Ooh, congratulations, Erin. She just said she finished organizing her craft space and she's thinking about a Simple Scrapper membership as a reward. Well, I can tell you one thing is that we are super dedicated to helping you keep your craft space all organized and to keep you moving forward and making things so that you can keep buying new supplies because you need them, because you keep using them. I think that's one of the things that I love about our community is that just we're so focused on being forward moving and helping each other enjoy this hobby and get the most out of it and get the most out of our purchases. So one thing that I have not mentioned very much on these particular things is there's actually 3 registered participants. Doesn't matter if you're, these are the non-live giveaways. 3 registered participants for the entire 10th anniversary party are going to get annual memberships. So it's a full year of Simple Scrapper, $240 retail value, you know, all in the house. So I'm excited to do that. We're going to do that. I think we're going to do it next week. I have it on the calendar, so. Just because I know there's folks watching the replay as well. I want to stick this. All right, I think I'll stick it there. We are doing a really good job of getting a lot of stamps on this, and now we're going to take it over the top for sure. Let's trim that edge off. Oh, use a bigger trimmer.
Jennifer, I'm late to the party. Which are your stamps? Is it just so far your My Story stamp and your date stamp, or is there anything else on there that I'm not seeing?
Sure, just a second. Let me trim this edge off here, and I'll show you everything that's a stamp so far.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, okay. I'm going to use scissors. Too many things going on there on the edge. All right. So we've got My Story here in the center of the doily. We have the Me Right Now on this cut apart tag. We've got all of these different journaling prompts: age, loving, reading, watching, cooking, dreaming, and the date stamp. So we have 4 different stamps so far.
Thank you. I thought the Me Right Now, when I logged on just now, was a die cut, was a, you know, ephemera.
Yeah.
Die cut. I didn't realise that was one that you'd made. And same with the journaling card. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. What do I want to do? We could do this little like pieces of my life stamp. I could pull this up a little bit and do like right here maybe, just to add another circle accent. I don't know. That card's pretty stuck down. I don't know that I want to do that. Could do it up here maybe. Or just down there. Maybe I'll do it there. Do I want to do it in a color? Seems intimidating. I don't know. If I have a good purple, that would be the right purple. I have scratch paper. Got lavender soda here, so let's see what color that actually is. It's really blue. I think I'll just do it in black because I like black a lot. So clean that off.
Erin suggested putting that circle element on like the top right of your photo. So I think it would maybe balance out the My Story circle.
Like on the photo?
I would probably stamp it on something and cut it out and stick it there. But
Oh, let's do that. Let's make another. Yeah, let's do that real quick. Oh, I got a piece of smooth cardstock here. Let's see, and that one did not work. So now, since I did it separately, I can do it one more time. Very nice. Okay, so let that dry for a second, and then we'll cut that out. I think I might just do. Maybe just this I love. I know I could come up with some different phrases I'd pull out another stamp set, but I kind of just want to challenge myself to use one and see what we can do with it. So I'm going to do this up here. Okay. And right next to that is the perfect spot for a little enamel dot. I can tell that right now. There. I can actually get it off my fingernail. Okay, guys. Flip over. Oh, okay. There we go. Stick. And once I cut that other piece out, I'll definitely put an enamel dot next to that. We have some space right here. What can we do here? You could do the big me maybe, or the moi.
There are some questions in the chat box about how you selected your stuff. And Shelly is a big fan. She's going for purple. So she said purple mittens, but I think you wanted to use stamps from that set, yes?
Yes. No, if I had a particular die cut piece that would fit, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I feel like that, like some sort of die cut piece could be slipped under there. You know, I'll pull that out and see if we got anything in the purple domain here. That's a possibility. And we'll see what other questions we have. Jennifer, did you pull all the stuff you're going to use before you got started? I almost everything that you see here on this page I pulled last night. And I just really pulled one thing at a time. I had the doily first, then I printed the photo, then I selected the pattern papers that were going to have both red and purples in them. Then I picked the craft cardstock background, and then I found a journaling card, and then I found the stamp set, and I found the stamp set almost right away because I was looking for a circle stamp to go in the middle of there. And then the washi tape I just pulled today. But most of that I just kind of pulled last night, and it's usually, I'm doing one thing at a time, trying to like build off the choices I've already made. Purple. A purple tag. I don't know about the flowers. It's an awful winter layout to have flowers, but there is purple there. There's just not nearly enough purple scrapbook supplies. That's the real problem here. So for those of you who haven't seen this, this is an embroidery floss storage container that I use to hold all my die cut pieces. It's a little bit stuffed at the moment. Let's tuck this under and see how it looks. It's fine. I mean, there is floral here too. Certainly adds a little bit more to that. All right, I went ahead and muted everyone else again. Looks like we're getting a little feedback from Darlene. No big deal at all, but we just want to make sure everyone has a good experience. I like that. We'll do that. We'll just shove that on there. And then we'll do one of the purple dots there. Let's cut this little stamp piece out. Rectangle first. This is where I wish I had the perfect size small circle punch for this. But I definitely do not have a circle punch that small. All right. Very cute. I like that. And then we're going to do another dot. Sure. Right there. Another one there. All right. I don't know if I want to add anything else. I think it's pretty cool. I am very happy with this page. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 stamps on the page. So I think that's pretty fun. I just need to finish up that journaling. And I can't wait to share. I have a lot of journaling to finish up on the stuff that I've made this weekend. I can't wait to share all those pages in a blog post as kind of like a recap of this very special weekend. Let's switch the video back here real quick. So I want to thank you guys for joining me for this fun session. I always love getting your input as I'm creating. It makes it extra fun. And hopefully you guys learn something from me and from each other during the session. And you will come back for our final 2 sessions. We've got Kim still this afternoon and me at 4 o'clock, where we'll be doing your year, your way. We're going to go through a few kind of reflective prompts and then a final burst of crafting here. So see you guys. Thanks so much. If you've not been to one of these before, I am going to kick everyone out so that we can finish up the recording, but you're welcome to come back in and keep cropping in the meantime.
I think I'm going to be saying goodbye to everyone now, because I don't think I'll be able to stay awake for the last 2 sessions. But thank you all for a fantastic event. It's been amazing and a lot of fun to be able to hang out with you, everybody, for a whole weekend. It's been awesome.
Well, thank you for hosting as well.
Thank you. It was fun.